12. I am THERESA Adeyemi. Mohammed Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation, says the Nigerian economy is making steady progress under President Bola Tinubu despite the ongoing challenges. Speaking in Abuja on Wednesday while receiving members of the Nigerian Guild of Editors (NGE), Idris said reforms introduced by the current administrations are beginning to bear fruit. Idris said the international rating agencies have started acknowledging Nigerians' effort to stabilize its economy. He listed the removal of fuel subsidy and the unification of exchange rate as major policy decisions driving the economic recovery. The National Security Advisor, NSA, Malam Nuhu Ribadu, has cautioned critics of the Bola Tinubu administration against underestimating the president's leadership in commitment to transforming Nigeria, insisting that such critics belong to the past era with outdated ideas and failed records. He said people who underestimate him are doing so at their own peril. Ribadu spoke on a day the African Democratic Congress said he accused the presidency of fabricating claims of an alleged plot to overthrow President Tinubu administration, alleging that it was a deliberate strategy to justify the repression of opposition leaders. Also, the lawmaker representing Federal Capital FCT, Senator Ireti Kinigbe, said though she remains a member of the party, she had aligned with the opposition coalition on the platform of African Democratic Congress (ADC). However, the lawmaker representing Benue South Senatorial District, Senator Abba Moro, said he remains a committed member of the People's Democratic Party and has no intention of joining any coalition. Similarly, leader of the PDP in Ondo State yesterday disowned the former governorship candidate and members of the party who defected to the African Democratic Congress (ADC). Also, as a move to assert itself as a strong opposition, the PDP has dismissed claims of a decline in relevance, saying it is consolidating internally and positioning itself for a strong comeback in the 2027 general elections. The indigenous people of Biafra's 430 Anambra State Governor, Professor Charles Soludo, for his remarks allegedly attributing the spate of kidnappings in the southeast to Igbo youth. The group accused Soludo of making inflammatory, baseless statements that could endanger the lives of innocent people in the region. Soludo, while addressing Anambra indigents in Maryland, United States, recently had reportedly claimed that 99% of arrested kidnappers in the state were Igbos and not Fulani herdsmen. Reacting in a statement on Thursday, IPOB's Director of Media and Publicity, Ima Powerful, said the governor's remarks amounted to a green light for security agencies and alleged Fulani militias to target and persecute innocent Igbo youth. IPOB claimed that Soludo's comments were dangerous to justify extrajudicial killings, illegal arrest, and mass raid in the name of security operations. The group accused the governor of pursuing political ambition and seeking favor from the ruling elite at the expense of his people's safety. IPOB also challenged the governor to print a single verified investigation or conviction that proves his claim and reiterated that IPOB remains a peaceful and non-violent self-determination group with no links to criminal activities. It further accused Soludo of working against the release of Nnamdi Kanu, IPOB's leader, who is currently in detention despite his previous public statement calling for Kanu's freedom, concluding IPOB urged the people of Anambra and the wider southeast to be vigilant and to recognize who the true enemies are. Olubunmi Tunji-Ojo, Minister of Interior, met on Wednesday in Abuja with Richard Mills, the United States Ambassador to Nigeria. The meeting was attended by Kemi Nananandap, Comptroller General CEO of the Nigerian Immigration Service (NIS), and Magdalena Janet, the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Interior. In a statement, Tunji said the recently introduced visa procedures by the U.S. government for Nigerian nationals were discussed during the constructive meeting. The Interior Minister said the U.S. Ambassador provided valuable insight into the revised protocol and its alignment with established practices to uphold the integrity of the visas process. The ambassador described the e-visa policy of the Nigerian Immigration Service as an innovation intended to streamline and enhance the application process for foreign travelers into the country, the statement read. The Ministry of Interior, the Nigerian Immigration Service, and the U.S. Mission on Nigeria agreed in collaboration emphasizing adherence to visa regulations and promoting responsible travel practices among Nigerian citizens. Recall on Tuesday, the U.S. Embassy in Nigeria announced the major change to its visa policy for Nigeria, reducing the validity period and entry allowance for most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to citizens. The embassy said most of the affected visas will now be limited to single entry with a 3-month validity period. The chairman of the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, Ola Olukoyede, yesterday sought the backing of the National Assembly to legislate against unexplained wealth. He said Nigeria cannot win the anti-corruption war without the legal backing to hold public officers accountable for assets far beyond their legitimate earnings. Olukoyede spoke at the National Conference on Public Account and Fiscal Governance, organized by the Public Account Committees of the State and House of Representatives in Abuja. The FCC chairman described the magnitude of public sector corruption as disturbing. Olukoyede described fiscal rascalism and mismanagement of public resources as a core driver of Nigeria's economic woes and security challenges. Olukoyede recounted how investigations into public offices acts of malfeasance were often stalled because the law still requires a predicate offense, a specific crime such as theft or fraud before assets will be seized or charges filed. The Naira yesterday depreciated to 1,562 Naira per dollar in the parallel market from 1,560 Naira per dollar on Tuesday. But the Naira appreciated to 1,520 Naira per dollar after a 2-day depreciating trend in the Nigerian foreign exchange market. Data published by the Central Bank of Nigeria (CBN) showed that the exchange rate for the Naira fell to 1,520 per dollar from 1,530.5 Naira per dollar on Tuesday, indicating 10.5 Naira appreciation for the Naira. Consequently, the margin between the parallel market and NFEM rate widened to 42 Naira per dollar from 29.5 Naira per dollar the previous day. Here in Lagos, in a significant milestone for Shomolu local government, 4 legacy projects were commissioned yesterday, marking a new era in the area's development. The project commissioned by Ajia Fatima Abbas, wife of the Speaker of the House of Representatives, on behalf of First Lady of Nigeria, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, include a state-of-the-art council secretariat, a modern fire station, a police station, and a fully equipped legislative building. Ajia Fatima Abbas commended Honorable Ahmed Salah, popularly known as Dula, for his visionary leadership and commitment to providing essential infrastructure for the people of Shomolu local government. And I quote, "I want to commend Honorable Ahmed Salah for providing 4 good legacy projects for the people of Shomolu local government," she said. End of quote. In a speech read on her behalf by Mrs. Oluremi Amzat, wife of the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, Senator Oluremi Tinubu lauded the project as impactful, urged the resident to reciprocate a laudable gesture. The First Lady emphasized the importance of community support and cooperation in sustaining the project. The project was formally commissioned by Ajia Fatima Abbas, representing the First Lady of Nigeria, and stakeholders in Shomolu praised the remarkable achievement. The council secretariat was named after Senator Oluremi Tinubu, while the police station was named after Bashwa, which had previously been vandalized during the #EndSARS process. The legislative building was named after the late Senator Bayo Oshinowo. In Kenya, Kenya's president on Wednesday broke silence over recent anti-government protests that left those in debt, saying he would not allow anarchy in the country disguised as peaceful demonstrations. President William Ruto said enough is enough and urged police to shoot in the leg those involved in looting and burning businesses. Weeks of protests have rocked Kenya after a blogger died in police custody last month, angering many Kenyans. Tension heightened after a policeman shot a civilian at close range during one of the demonstrations against police brutality. Thousands turned out for protests on June 25, which coincided with the 1-year anniversary of huge anti-tax protests. On Monday, police erected roadblocks on all roads leading to the city center in the capital, Nairobi, blocking motorists and pedestrians deemed not to be in essential work. Police clashed with protesters on the outskirts of the city and in 17 of 47 counties across the country, leaving 10 people dead and more than 100 injured. More than 500 were arrested. A total of 50 people have died in the past 2 weeks during 2 separate waves of demonstration. In Somalia is currently facing severe food insecurity with 4.6 million individuals experiencing food shortages, as reported by the United Nations. Stephen Dujarric, the UN spokesperson for the Secretary General, informed reporters that 1.8 million children under 5 are anticipated to be acutely malnourished this year. Dujarric also mentioned that food assistance has decreased by 50% compared to the previous year, and nearly 150 clinics have been impacted, resulting in hundreds of thousands of individuals lacking access to essential health care. The suffering of an increasing number of Somalis unable to provide for their children is compounded by the stress of health workers witnessing the loss of hundreds of millions of dollars in U.S. support during the Trump administration. In Greece said Wednesday is temporarily suspending asylum applications for migrants arriving on the island of Crete following spike in arrivals from Libya. More than 2,000 migrants have landed on the Mediterranean island since the weekend, according to Coast Guard figures, bringing the total number of arrivals this year to over 10,000. Prime Minister Kyriakos Mitsotakis told Parliament the government planned to build a detention site on Crete for migrants and was seeking direct collaboration between the Libyan and Greek Coast Guard to turn back boats in the North African country. This emergency situation clearly demands emergency measures, Mitsotakis told lawmakers. The Greek government has decided to inform the European Commission that it will suspend the processing of asylum applications for an initial period of 3 months for those arriving by sea in North America. In Los Angeles, at least 31 workers rescued after tunnel collapse in Los Angeles. At least 31 workers were safely rescued after a tunnel collapse in a large industrial complex in Los Angeles on Wednesday evening, according to the Los Angeles Fire Department. The collapse took place at the 18-foot diameter tunnel being constructed for municipal wastewater management, who call that an underground, that is underdetermined depth, horizontal excavation site about 5 to 6 miles south of the Solar Rescue Access Portal, LAFD said. The trap workers were able to scramble with some effort over a 12 to 15-foot tall pile of loose soil to meet several co-workers on the other side of the collapse and be shuttled several at a time by tunnel vehicle to the entry at this point more than 5 months away, according to preliminary reports. Talk and sport. Lionel Messi scored twice in the fourth half of Inter Miami's 2-1 victory over the New England Revolution on Wednesday, continuing a run of firm, unprecedented in Major League Soccer. The 38-year-old Argentine star has scored 2 goals each of his last 4 MLS games to become the first MLS player to score multiple goals in 4 straight games. He launched the streak in late May with 2 goals in a 4-2 win over Montreal, followed by 2 in a 5-1 victory over Columbus. Miami then paused their MLS campaign to compete in the Club World Cup, where Messi scored 1 goal in 4 matches, and Miami were eliminated in the round of 16 by Paris Saint-Germain. Javier Mascherano's team returned to MLS action on Saturday with a 4-1 victory at Montreal, also fueled by a brace from 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Messi. In all, Messi has 14 goals in 15 MLS games, putting him 2 behind leading scorer Sam Sorich, who has appeared in 6 more games for Nashville than Messi has played this season. And it's a wrap on Champion World News at 12. Don't forget to join us at 3 p.m. for our community news in region and our Yoruba news at 7 p.m. My name is THERESA Adeyemi. Many thanks for listening.